Da 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 ba da 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 doo ba ba choo ba da 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 da. Yeah, yeah. I'm just a drawing machine, and I don't draw for nobody but you. Yeah, yeah. And then I'll drink Dr. Pepper. Dun 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 dun. It's my unofficial sponsor. Probably make me burp. Do 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 do. Then you'll hear me burp. Da 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 da. This is the part where I sing. Da 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 da. Ba da ba da da da. In order to take up time to see if anybody gonna come and watch. Da 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 da. Da. Baba choo choo, baba choo choo, ba. Baba choo cha, ba. Plus, I'm still at work, so I'm singing quieter than normal, just in case. Yeah, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Ba-da-ba-ba, and I'll sing a little bit more. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-ba, da-da-ba. Where's the chat window? Da-da-da. Okay, there it is. Got my chat window set up so I can theoretically see what I am doing here. No one is watching just yet, but this will be on my YouTube when it's done, so people will see it. Um, hello, IND. And itch on the back of my head. And I'm easily distracted, so that's just, wait. Okay, what's this? Is live now. Aha! That's was set for just my friends. Well, that's no convenient. I want the world to see the ridiculousness of me drawing because, whatever. So, completely unscheduled, completely unplanned, but I figured, what the heck? I'll give it a try and see if anybody actually is, just hanging out, wants to see what's going on whilst I am penciling. So, I'm gonna take my glasses off because I don't really need them to see the screen if it's right in front of me. They're more of a thing set to distance. I haven't done any of these in almost a month. It's been a little while now, partly um, just a little bit of stress. The inauguration knocked me on my butt, admittedly, as I've pointed out in the strip a couple times. And it turned my brain to pudding. Sorry, seasonal. Um, oh, I have a whatchamacallit, um, deviated septum, so my nose goes crazy this time of year. So actually, usually when I do live streams like this, I usually do like inking videos. But I prefer inking on my iPad, and I've not yet figured out how to do the streaming videos from my iPad. So instead, I'm just going to do let's see, something going on here. No, haha. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some penciling. So I have a script. It's already been dropped in. I'm not going to leave it up for too long. Haha. Maybe I'll make it really, really faint so it's super hard to see what's being said. Um, Also, I don't like it getting in the way of my drawing, but I do like to see where it is so I know how to do the whatchamacallit, where I know how to place everything. I always do, and this is something I picked up working with Sabrina on Giant Girl Adventures, where she'd give me the script and I would start roughing things out on paper. And eventually I started roughing them out digitally. And I realized for me, it worked a lot better if I actually laid out the text from the script on the page first. I'd put all the text, I drop them all in little balloons, usually not very well positioned or anything, but just there. So I know the rough amount of space I need. And I would kind of start moving them around the page so I could figure out who needed to be on the left or the right first. It helped me figure out panel layouts and stuff like that. And now finding the more often than not is this grid. I use like a 5 or 6 panel grid. I don't honestly like doing them in a grid. I would prefer a more fluid page layout. However, the grid is super helpful for making all the panels squares, which are, for Instagram, for people reading them on their phone, so you can get one panel at a time. Makes it a lot easier for me to manipulate all these things. So you can see here on the side, I've got I've got some folders. So the logos and legal go onto theirs. The foreground text, all my text is in this little thing here. I've got a layer for word balloon outlines, the actual word balloons themselves. I have a text mask, which is just white that I go over. I have a frame here that's the border. Now the border is the actual border outline is a stroke set as a layer blending mode. So like if I were to add something into the border, let's say just like for example, if I was going to do like a little inset in the corner, this is not how I would do it, of course, but as you can see, it automatically fills in with the stroke. So the strokes are always the exact same width. I see at least one person is in here watching. Hello, Eric. If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I can see the comments in both Facebook and Restream. So if anyone comments, I can see it. And I will do my best to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I'll make something up. So I have a line art layer here, I have a sketch layer, and I have my tones layer set up in this little folder marked tones. So that has my shadows, which is all my tones, the gray tones I use for the strip are all percentages of black. So there's a 40% black. That is usually, if I'm wearing the standard purple t-shirt that I always wear in the strips, that's 40% black. Heidi's t-shirt is usually 60% black. The cats are as well. My hair is 20% black. I have this is marked as 30% black. It's actually 76% black. I usually use this for the backgrounds. And then the shadows are also set at about 20% black. So when I draw in the little shadow layers. But for now, what I'm going to be doing is doing the roughs of the panel. So on that, it's the sketch layer. Now, my brush is right now black, and I'm using what's called Kyle Ultimate Pencil Hard. I like penciling in that one. It's my favorite digital pencil when I'm working in Photoshop. However, the sketch layer has another layer blending mode on it, which is always set to blue. Now, I made it darker blue so it'd be easier for everyone here to see. Let's see how that visible? It's kind of visible. You know what? I am going to cheat. I'm going to return this back to my normal lighter blue. So what I do is I make it but I'm going to turn it off right now so it's easier for everyone here watching to see. There we go. So I've already copied the script over from Google Drive where I'd written this one up. I actually wrote this one up, God, I think well over a year ago. It's been just kind of sitting in my queue looking for a good time to run it. And when I felt like drawing it. I have a kind of a weird thing that I do with the strips. Because Finding D is a weekly, um, I am very hesitant about doing what I would consider a filler strip, just a basic everyday. I try to make them a bit more important. Like if I've got something to say or something artistically that I really want to draw, stuff like that. Um, in reality, if the strip was running more days a week, I could easily fill out extra days. It's just a matter of I don't really have the time or the resources to, with all the other projects I've got going on, just in order to kind of pay the bills. I don't have the time that I'd love to have to work on Finding Me more frequently. If I did these kinds of gags, I'd be doing probably like 4-panel gags, more like a daily comic strip. Um, Now, normally when I'm doing my roughs like this, I don't do them in black. I have the effects layer turned on, which as you can see, makes everything pale blue. This is convenient for a bunch of different techniques because it enables me to, what it does is it enables me to keep everything non-photo blue, but I can't pencil on the wrong layer, is what I was trying to say. Like if I go to ink and okay, I'm going to change to an inking brush, and I think I've clicked on line art, but I haven't. I'm still on sketch. Well, if I go in with my inking brush to ink, up, it's still blue. I know I'm on the wrong layer. So I got to go up to the regular layer if I was going to ink. So that's one of the advantages of why I do it with the effects layer on. No matter what color my brush is, it's always going to be blue if I'm on this layer, and it helps keep me from inking on the wrong layer. Also, however, great advantage of if I bring this into, say, Clip Studio, where the blending modes are not, um, they don't carry over, and I do ink on the wrong, I end up inking on this layer with a black ink over this, I can go into channels and pull the blue right out, and my line art is preserved. So just like with a real non-repro blue pencil, which I love using in regular when I'm penciling and inking on paper, it has that advantage of being, it doesn't, I can remove it in the channels. So I've been doing these little title panels, usually dialogueless. More often than not, I'll make them kind of like a little, like almost like a mini cover of the strip. So not a panel itself, but something that could be removed, basically, like the old title panels and comic strips on Sundays. Because in my brain, I do think of this as a Sunday strip, always. But in some cases, like this one, I'm actually using it to help set up the gag that we've got a foot coming out of the shower, it's dripping wet, and Poe is licking it because Poe does that, which is the gag of the strip. Now for this, I have to cheat a little bit because I already set the dialogue up. So I'm going to have the shower here with Heidi coming out of the shower. And I'm going to have I'm going to put the sink over here with me brushing my teeth. Now, I've already drawn our bathroom a zillion times, and the sink is always drawn on the other side of the shower. But because of the way this is being laid out, um, in every other panel, I talk before Heidi. So rather than flip us backwards for that, I'm just changing the orientation of the bedroom. It's like the house in The Simpsons, the room changes for the house, the layout of the room changes like the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. It just does whatever is plot convenient. So in this case, our bathroom is just going to be reversed from the way it normally is. This is something I wrote a while ago. And this is one of those strips. I talk about this a lot when I run strips. About 60% of the strips are just straight up conversations that Heidi and I had, things that happened, almost one to one. All I really do is just kind of work out the timing and the punchlines a little bit smoother so that they fit into the panel arrangements. This is absolutely a conversation that we had in the bathroom one time with her coming out of the shower. I was actually in the bath. I was on the toilet, but I'm going to draw myself brushing my teeth because that's a little less gross. And I draw myself on the toilet all the time. It's not a pleasant thing. But yeah, this is definitely a conversation. This is based on one of those just straight up things that happens. Um, our little dog is weird. And when we both come out of the shower, yeah, if he's in the room, he just comes right up and just is like licking us all over. It's gross. Mostly with Heidi, not so much with me. And I'm like, this is the exact kind of thing this strip exists for. So, so if anyone is watching, has any questions, I see there's a couple of likes on here. So if folks are watching, just type them in the comments on Facebook or Restream. And if I can see the messages pop up, I can answer any questions you might have. Makes the whole thing a lot more fun and more interactive. And gives me something to do rather than repeat myself over and over again. Otherwise, it's not as much fun without questions. No comments yet. I know I didn't really announce anything, so everyone's a little bit like, no one really knows that this is happening right now. Give myself the towel treatment too, just to be fair to Heidi. Spoilers, when we're at home by ourselves alone, we're not as worried about the towels. Just again, I'm completely changing the configuration of our bathroom for the benefit of this strip. The only person in the world that will bother, but I'm weird. Okay, adjust this a little bit. One of the things I absolutely love about working digital is that I can go in here and be like, oh, well, the proportions here are way, way off. So let me reduce this up a little bit. I am way taller than Heidi, so I am going to actually take the toilet here, that should ended up becoming monstrously huge. Bring that down a little bit. Now I'm going to take Heidi and Poe here and reduce them a little bit more. I'm going to move her text over and her down a little bit so that now in reality I'm a full foot taller than Heidi. I can rest my chin on top of her head, but in the comic strip, our height difference is a little bit different. Move her first word balloon over here, kind of in the middle. Save this real quick because you never know when the computer is going to crash. And this is a work computer and it tends to crash a good bit. Use this opportunity to take a drink of my delicious Dr. Pepper, zero sugar. Dr. Pepper, zero sugar. They're not paying me, but I'm paying them. look at something real quick. Oh, cool. Okay. So I can also see the chat window in YouTube on occasion, though there is nobody in there either. I can check back and forth, especially for ones that I am actually gonna, promote, which is this is not. I just again kind of did this a little haphazard, a little bit. Um, I did this. I just kind of was like, I'm gonna work on something, and I'll see if anyone's around. Um, hey, Sabrina. Hopefully, I fixed the dialogue from before the echoing from earlier. Um, so yeah, I'm just working on roughs for new strip. Looking to the corner, like the camera's there. The camera's right there. Working on new strip, some roughs. I've got to get. This will be probably about a month ahead, a little over a month ahead. So this will running sometime in March. But let's see. One of the main reasons I absolutely love working digitally is when I'm doing my roughs here, I can be okay. Your, my propensity for drawing Mardi Gras float heads remains, and I can adjust the head sizes. Sabrina asks, no glasses. No, I need to get my eyes looked at. They've been shifting, and I've not needed them as much for when I'm staring at the screen. Like for here, I don't need them. For here, I would absolutely need them, but I'm not sitting this far from the screen, so everything gets a little blurry. But here, when I've got my glasses on, the screen starts getting blurry. So it's a big annoying pain in the ass that I just need to get looked at. But I've got eye insurance through my work that I got last year, but I have to look into how it actually works because I think it's the kind where I've got to pay for it in advance and then the insurance reimburses you, which is kind of functionally useless if you're broke. Whee! And let's see. I drew myself way too skinny here. There we go. There's more of the potato. I'm gonna do kind of a mid shot for the both of us here. Lower her head a little bit, bring mine up a little bit. And since it's showing us in the bathroom, I'm like, I'm gonna show Heidi in the towel coming out of the shower. I'll put myself in the towel as well, be fair. So hope everyone who's watching is having a decent Monday, or as well as can be expected for a Monday. Let's see. When you don't like the way the eyes came out. Okay, cool. So it looks like the message that Sabrina wrote came up both in the chat on Restream and on Facebook. That is good to know. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm still working out the bugs and all this stuff. I want to do it more often. I just had a crap January and wasn't feeling up to it for a good chunk of the time. Plus, there was that strip. There's strips that I know you know about, Sabrina, that I did not want to draw live because it would have totally given it away. Now, usually, what I do when I'm doing a panel like this, where we're going to be in the same basic positions from panel to panel, I like to kind of do a copy of it, and then I'll set my eraser to like 80% and make the pencil line really, really like loose and very faint and fine. That way I can draw over it and keep our proportions pretty much the same from panel to panel. Almost like it's kind of almost like what if you're doing animation, you keep the onion skin, the onion skin layering on. And try to always do a little something different from panel to panel with like our hands and our body language so that the strips have a little bit of animation to them. It doesn't just look like a bunch of talking heads. Nothing wrong with that. It's just it's not my style. It's not something I like to do. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm putting the work in. I want it to look nice. Most of this will stay the same, but the hand moved and my head is definitely going to change. Might do this again tomorrow, but actually make an announcement so folks know about it. Um, and probably another rough like this as opposed to inking. because I've done a bunch of inking videos and kind of like showing the thought process a little bit. So looks like I got a couple of folks in here watching. If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I can see the screens here on Facebook and Restream. And if you ask any basic questions, I will do my best to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I'll make up something and hopefully it will be move that down a little bit, clean up the hand a little bit so I know what I'm doing when I get to the roughs. Talking with the toothbrush. Again, I don't actually do that, but helps to animate the scene a little bit. Usually, if I'm brushing my teeth, the conversation is one of those where it's like, "Can you wait till I'm done?" But that's a strip for another day. These two, I want to repeat the layout of the first panel. Reduce us just a smidge so that we have a little bit more room for the dialogue. Dun, 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 dun. Again, erase our lines down. I mean, you can still see them. They're faint, but you can see them. Liefeld, eat your heart out. Looks like we got a couple people in here watching. Anyone new? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I can answer any questions. Working on a new Finding D strip. This one will be running in mid March. Got a nice little buffer going right now, so but I would like to keep that buffer, so gonna try to keep up working on my schedule is generally I try to work on new strips Monday and Tuesday. Um, God, even when I'm working over a pre-existing sketch of a head, my head seemed to grow a little bit. Just naturally inclined to draw Mardi Gras float heads, I guess. Sure, pencil in that I am in fact wearing slippers because I do not walk barefoot ever. Barely walk bare. When I'm barefoot is in the shower and I have a little pad for my feet there. I am actually going to, let's see, do another copy, paste. I have her actually doing a shooing gesture with her hand, so I figured I'll add that into the dialogue a little bit, tweak it, which I do on the fly a lot with like this when I'm working. I write the script out, but like when you're actually drawing it, you got the expressions and you've got everything like that. Your brain tells you to do different things with it. You get different ideas. And thank you for the little thumbs up, Andrew. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I can see the comments as they pop up on the screen. Change your eye line a little bit because I move Poe down a little closer. Do we post on Facebook or does Restream have a site where I can go with a chat window? They both do. However, this is populating into both of them. So I can see when you posted here, it automatically went into the chat over on Restream, which is super convenient, which means I don't have to keep these up. I don't have to pay attention to the both of them. Yeah, think it's funnier if I have her kind of pressing it, trying to press his head away. Okay, so this is the basics of how I put together the roughs, the pencils for new strips. Reduce me a little bit there because even though I'm kneeling down, I feel like I grew between panel to panel again. Proportion is the bane of my existence. So yeah, this should be shareable from either Restream or from here in Facebook. It's also restreaming to YouTube, where the video will be kind of permanent after this goes up and is finished, which will be in a couple minutes because I am done with the main thing I was here to do. So working on roughs for a new Finding D strip. This is how I generally work. When I usually I've got my roughs in a little blue line. I've got my template. I've got my foreground text. All that fun jazz. Let's see. I learned Clip Studio Paint in 2023 after I was laid off from my wage job. I was kicking myself that I always made comics in Photoshop the whole time. Yeah, Clip Studio Paint is very, very good. I love working in it. However, there's certain things that I have not yet figured out how to do in Clip Studio. I've seen some versions, some of the newer versions can do it, but I haven't figured it out yet, and I'm slow. So I still do all my formatting in Photoshop. I like I'm just familiar with it. I'm super comfortable with it. I've been working with it for close to 30 years now. I can do things like my color overlays, like the sketch layer, the color overlay, which makes it, even though I drew it in black, I've got the light blue overlay. I can do little things like my the borders on my, so like you can see here, if I remove the background, I've got my borders on a separate layer, and I have my little stroke effects. And I'm pretty sure you can probably do a lot of this in Clip Studio, but I don't quite know how yet. What I do is I'll take this, um, and actually I can show the process. What I'll do is I'll compress down the layers for the logos, for the text, the border, and all that into one. So I'll make these one layer. So merge layers. I'm actually going to copy the same color overlay effect, paste that, make it set it to screen so that it makes everything just a light blue. Merge it with the layer below it, so the overlay is no longer layer blending mode, but it's just flat art. So now I've got this as a flat layer. I'll merge all these on the bottom together, merge layers. So right now I've got 4 layers. I got logos and legal, which I can make transparent. I've got my line art layer. I've got my sketch layer, which I'll also reduce the opacity of. And what I'll do now is I go image size and I actually bring it up right now. For print, I do it 300 dpi. I'm going to bring this up to 600 dpi. Um, and I do this, I'll save this as a separate file and move that into Clip Studio for the inking because the inking is just so much smoother in Clip Studio, especially and on my iPad. The pen on the iPad is way more. This is just an Intuos Wacom. It's like 15, 20 years old. It does the job that I need to do and I'm at work, so it works fine for me. But yeah, when it comes to inking, I love my iPad for that. I do all that. Just like I'll sit downstairs in the living room at home, and I haven't yet tried doing a restream from the iPad yet. While I'm working on that, I don't know quite how that would work. I'm gonna figure it out eventually, and see if I can get it working. Probably won't have the screen aiming at me because all you'll see then is like up my chin because it'll be down on my lap. It won't be the same, but I'm going to save this out in my blue lines. So I've got a little folder for high res blue lines that I keep. And then I'll kind of put this, save this to my Google Drive and, take it home and go to work. CSP has no start layer, Object Photoshop does, which is pain. Yeah, there's a lot of things like from a graphic design standpoint that I can't quite do in Clip Studio. I don't like the text in Clip Studio. It's not as easy to manipulate. Um, and uh, I use Clip Studio for what Clip Studio for me works best for. And since I still have Photoshop as a result of I need it for work, um, it makes sense for me to keep it. And I just do the formatting. And now when it's inked, I'll bring it back into the layered strip, drop the line art into it, and then I have all my toning layers and I do my text layers over that. And that's just easier for me. I prefer it. So, okay, here you go. It's roughed out strip. I'm gonna do another one of these tomorrow after work, and I'm gonna set it up. I'll make like a little announcement so people will know about it this time, as opposed to just today where I was like, I'm gonna turn on my camera and stream it out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be working on the inks for this. I might try working on the inks. I don't know. We'll see. I might either work on the inks or I'll work on the roughs for a new strip. But either way, it'll be about a half hour, an hour, and I hope to see you then. Thank you, everybody who was watching. I appreciate it, and have a great afternoon.